Hello everyone. Happy holidays or unhappy holidays. Today, yeah, you miss getting your face all up in there, don't you? Today I'm going to be talking about spending the holidays alone because that's what I am doing, and I don't really have any other great topic. I do want to do a video on my accomplishments up to this point, but right now we're just going to talk about the depression. Reaper's getting his bone. I am no contact with my family, and my birthday is right before Christmas, so I had my birthday on the 12th, and then Christmas is tomorrow, and I saw my family for the first time in 2.5 years at the beginning of the month, because they came to Atlanta and then they were going up to North Carolina, but they came to see me. I haven't seen them. I have 2 older sisters. They both have autism, and then my parents are still together, but my dad was very abusive to all of us when I was younger, and now I don't want to have any relationship with him. I don't even want to have a relationship with my mother. And I thought like I would be fine after I saw them. I saw this post too, and it was like, oh, people only talk on social media when they're lonely. So maybe that's what this is. Because it's not really anyone's business, but then again, I know there's other people going through it as well. And this is poorly structured. It's not structured at all. But I'm sure I'm not the only one this year. But yeah, I don't want any relationship with them. And then like, I got all my Christmas presents from my P.O. box this past Saturday from my sisters. And my birthday card was in there. And my mom, she included this note. And you know what? I'll probably just add the note to the screen so you can see what it is, but it was just all this stuff about forgiveness and not being a victim. And you know, I was considering getting rid of my P.O. box and actually giving them my address, because I've never felt like safe enough to give them my address. And I thought everything went well earlier this month, and you know, you always have this hope that maybe your parents will change and, you know, love you and be proud of you and accept you. And no, it was still the stance of, you are wrong, you're wrong for being upset at us, for us mistreating you. And then, I mean, even to continually imply that somebody needs to forgive you, you would have to have done something wrong to even deserve to be forgiven. So to completely like brush over that you did something wrong, it's just wild. It's just a mind fuck. But anyways, I will be home alone these holidays, and I have Reaper. Reaper's great. I picked him up right before Christmas 2 years ago at the Humane Society, and he was just 8 weeks old, and he cried so much. And I thought, oh my God, this dog's gonna be clingy. And he is very clingy, and he's a beast. So that's a good thing. But yeah, spending the holidays alone. It's not so much the act of being alone for the holidays, because I love being alone. It's just sitting and realizing, wow, there's so many people that have families that love and support them, and that wasn't something that I got. And then I've just been thinking like just very hard about the time that I grew up in, because I just turned 25, and you know, 2 years out of me turning, yeah, I was 18, then 19, 20. No, I was 19. I wasn't even 20. When I was 19, then we had the pandemic. And then it's just been it's just been one of the hardest economies, I would argue, because you think it's like a slow burn, you know, because the world shut down for a year. And then after that, we had the inflation, and then prices rose, and then the job market, and then even being able to buy a house became so much harder. And then I've just been thinking, like, I went through all of that. I became a stripper in the end of 2023, so I was 22 at the time, in the middle of a recession that wasn't even named a recession. And I think about all of the situations I was in, just with bad friends, bad men. And I don't think half of those things would have happened to me if I had just one parent who supported me and loved me. Like, I never had the option of a safety net or a backup plan. I could never go home because home, it wasn't safe. And I'm very fortunate now because I do have good people around me. I have people that have taken over that parental role, and I've been very, very lucky to have that, and very blessed to have that. And I do feel like God has favor over my life, and I think you do have to go through certain battles and certain struggles to be prepared for your purpose. So I don't regret, but I still blame. And I've done a lot by myself, and I've come so far by myself, but it's not something I was supposed to do. It's not something that is normal. It's not normal to not talk to your parents. It's not normal to be by yourself for Christmas, for your birthday, for every holiday, to not even want to speak to them. It's not normal to go into a depressive state after you see them. Even like my birthday card, it's like that's it. Like, you couldn't tell me you were proud of me or how far I came. It was just, you need to forgive us, but you did nothing wrong. And it's not even like, I don't even need them to acknowledge that they did anything wrong, because at this point I've developed my own values and worldviews, that just spending time with them, if they were to say all the things that they did wrong and finally acknowledge it, and then I were to spend more time with them and then have like weekly phone calls or even monthly phone calls, it would be too much. Like, I just want nothing to do with them. Like, they failed me so much as a child, and it's not even, I mean, my sisters had autism, and then one had a epilepsy disorder, and then the other had asthma, and then mentally they were second grade. And people always act like asthma isn't a big deal, but if you're autistic and you can't breathe, like, it's a very big deal. Like, my sister was in and out of the hospital when I was growing up. She would just have seizures where she was seizing on the floor, and I thought she was gonna die. And then I would have to be the one to get her medicine or ride in the ambulance. So it's not, I think my parents had a lot to deal with, but it was like I was raised as the oldest son. You know, I started working when I was 14, and it's funny too, because I was talking to my best friend about this. Sorry for the clinking noise in the background. He's just eating his bone. I was talking to my best friend about this, and I was like, you know, I was never raised to, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but I was never raised to be a stay-at-home mom. I was never, well, I didn't really want kids in the first place because I already grown up taking care of my sister, so I didn't want to take care of anything else. But I was never taught, like, oh, you can just marry rich. You can just look for a rich man. Like, I was working. I worked 2 jobs my senior year of high school. I started working when I was 14. The job I was working at wasn't even legal. My dad, like, convinced them to hire me, and my dad was paying me cash just to get me to work there. And I was being sexually harassed, that he didn't care. He told me that he wished that it happened to me so that I would learn how to deal with it. And the person, like, I mean, you can even argue that I was molested, but the person who did that, he was still allowed to come in. So I saw him every Wednesday. For the next 3 years. And my my parents committed tax fraud on me 3 years ago, and it's so hard because as a kid, the only thing you want is for everything to be okay and for people to stop arguing, and people don't realize just how damaging some relationships are. But yeah, I'm just grieving this year because I did so much on my own, and I'm so proud of the life that I've built, but it's like, at what cost? I shouldn't have even had to do this. And I wish more people understood too that when you go no contact with your parents, it's not because you're just throwing some fit. It's not because things didn't go your way. It's because you've tried a million times over to make that relationship work, and then you had to choose for yourself to not be around them. Like, I think about when I'm gonna get married too, and I don't even want them at my wedding. Yeah, I know, baby. Damn, I'm so sorry this is depressing. I think about Trish Paytas though, and then I think about all the videos she made of herself crying and then like doing crazy stuff, and then her life turned out alright, you know? Like, people pull that stuff up and they find it inspiring, so I mean, I guess I can be public about this. It's kind of funny too, because the whole time I've been depressed, I haven't gone outside, and then there's been a flu going around. So I missed getting the flu or COVID, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, it's a weird time to be alive. Horrible time to be on your own. Because my mom, she got cut off when she was in college, and my parents weren't really supporting me that much. My dad, he promised me a set amount of money when I went to college, and he only did it for the first 3 semesters, and part of me graduating a year early too was so that he didn't have to put money towards my college, and so that I didn't have to take out loans. Like, I really sacrificed a lot for my family, and then he just unexpectedly, that was no longer an option, and then I had to scramble. And if it had been a conversation of, we just can't afford to give you this, and I had had a heads up, like, that would be a completely different situation. But it's like, at every opportunity that my parents had to screw me over, they did. And this is, I mean, I haven't even like touched on the time I was in Texas living with them after I graduated for 3 months. Like, I ran. I really ran. From there to here. And so many people complain about bills, but I would rather pay bills than ever go back to that. Like, all the yelling my dad did, the attraction I felt he had to me when I finally got older, just being anywhere around him, the stuff he did to my sisters. And I mean, my mom, she wrote a book about our family. She had a radio show for 5 years where I think it was helpful in putting together resources for other families, but I couldn't tell anyone about what I was experiencing. And my mom, she just had this like martyr image that she wanted to uphold. And I just remember growing up and everyone telling me just like how sad they felt for my mom and how everything was so hard for her. And I was so confused because I was like a third parent. I was the mom. And nobody felt sad for me. Nobody. I'm very sensitive now too when I feel that people are entitled, when they feel like I owe them things or that the world owes them things, because I just look back at my life and how I've had to work for everything that I have. So I'm honestly very grateful to be away from my family for Christmas. And I do have friends, but I don't want to be around other people's families. I just want it to pass. I was thinking about working, but then I feel like that's more depressing to go to a strip club on Christmas. And you have to be very careful too about who you tell. I mean, I'm strong enough now, so it really doesn't matter, but I've had just not even boyfriends, but men that were interested in me in the past, and when they felt that I was alone and I had no one, they felt it was easier to manipulate me, and it took me a while to see that. I mean, even in what I'm talking about, it's like if I had just had my mom talking to me or my dad, I would have been saved from so much shit. Instead of being told, 6 years after I'm out of the house, why don't you talk to us? It's your fault. We don't have a relationship. You have no peace within yourself. Yeah. Oh. Linnea. But yeah, I did it. I did make it on my own. Goodbye. I'll probably end up like hiding this video later, or maybe I won't. I just don't care anymore, Like, what image do I have to protect? None. Even if you read the book, I think that's what I'm grateful for. Just in my mom's book, it's so obvious the things that they did that were wrong, because she writes it out, but she puts it in a way that she believes people will see. She thinks people will see it her way, but the way she writes it and then talks about the disciplining, it's so clear that it's not. So I'm thankful for that, you know, that her distorted views got translated correctly. Yeah, this is a depressing video, but you know what? The next one I'll make up for it. We'll talk all about my accomplishments. Goodbye.